One of the most shocking raids in American history, the FBI, ICE, and DEA stormed a hidden cartel fortress in Georgia and uncovered over $1.2 billion in drugs, weapons, and gold.
In the Vine City area of Atlanta, those who stashed it here were keeping a close eye on it.
At exactly 4:30 in the morning, long before the sun could rise over Jefferson, that calm ended in an instant when a powerful blast ripped through the darkness. It was a flashbang grenade thrown by federal agents. Suddenly, red and blue lights lit up the entire neighborhood. Officers shouted commands with energy and urgency. FBI, hands up, step out now! Within seconds, a quiet Georgia street looked like a battlefield. The massive federal operation known as Operation Take Back America had begun. Armored trucks moved into position, blocking both ends of the street so no one could escape. FBI tactical teams rushed forward. ICE agents covered the perimeter. DEA task forces moved through shadows with absolute precision. This was a strike against a dangerous cartel network that had quietly taken root inside the United States. When the agents entered the target house, they discovered something far more terrifying than anyone expected. In the kitchen, dozens of plastic-wrapped bricks of cocaine and methamphetamine were hidden carefully. Powdered fentanyl glittered on the floor under the flashlight beams, a deadly substance strong enough to kill with just a few grains. But the biggest shock was still waiting in a back room. Inside that room, agents found a complete armory. There were AR-style rifles lined up neatly, more than a dozen handguns placed on shelves, and hidden beneath a wooden workbench sat a fully functional military-grade grenade launcher. The air smelled like chemicals and gun oil. Maps and blueprints covered the walls, showing detailed drug routes from Mexico into the heart of Georgia. This was not a random drug house. It was a paramilitary command post disguised as an ordinary family home. Pinned across the walls were coded notes, encrypted payment schedules, and untraceable phone numbers. Everything pointed to one man known only as Coito, a 48-year-old Mexican national with a long criminal history and a reputation for being a tactical mastermind. For years, federal agencies had suspected he was rebuilding cartel power from inside the US, but they never imagined he had established something so large, so organized, and so hidden in plain sight.
Money, guns, they were all picked up. Police arrested Leonard Talley for dealing drugs through the front door. At the home, police found pounds of cocaine, including some that tested positive for fentanyl, along with marijuana.
Wiretaps and surveillance revealed that the cartel wasn't hiding in dark corners. They were living like everyone else. Their safe house looked like normal college rentals. Their couriers blended in as delivery drivers. Their money flowed through everyday businesses such as cafes, tire shops, and small real estate offices. For years, families, students, and professors had unknowingly lived beside a violent criminal network. Every handshake, every neighbor, every friendly smile could have been tied to the cartel. But the raid that morning was only the first move. As agents gathered evidence, Operation Take Back America expanded instantly. 13 federal and state agencies launched simultaneous raids across Jefferson, Athens, and Atlanta. Exactly 12 locations were hit at the same time to prevent anyone from sending warnings. Doors were breached within seconds of each other. This level of coordination was designed to strike at the heart of the cartel before they could react. The results were shocking. In one location, agents found perfectly organized ledgers showing almost $1 million in weekly transactions. In another, burner phones were still ringing with messages coming directly from Mexico. By sunrise, it became clear that the cartel had built a fully operational branch of their empire right inside Georgia. They had enough fentanyl to create 7 million deadly doses. They had 1 ton of pure cocaine. They had hundreds of thousands of fake pills designed to mimic real prescription medication. And hidden around the state, agents uncovered 3 tons of gold, which the cartel used to secretly move its profits across international borders. As investigators began sorting through the evidence, they realized this operation was not a simple crime, it was warfare. The cartel ran like a military unit. Orders traveled from Mexico to Georgia in minutes. Every warehouse doubled as a distribution hub. Every suspect had a defined job, whether it was cooking drugs, guarding shipments, or managing money. Homeland Security investigators soon found that many businesses used by the cartel were only pretending to function. One tire shop hadn't sold a single tire in 2 years, yet it pushed nearly $1 million of cartel money every week through a shadow banking network. Things took an even darker turn when investigators discovered that cartel messages mentioned blue bag and summer heat, codenames that perfectly matched the FBI's own secret operation title, Project Summer Heat. Someone inside the system had leaked information, or the cartel had managed to intercept federal communications. As this news spread, the community's fear grew. Parents called colleges begging for information. Students realized cartel couriers had been trading packages just a few blocks from their dorms. Families who thought they lived in peaceful neighborhoods now learned that a criminal army had been operating next door. Just when the dust seemed to settle, a new encrypted message appeared at 7:45 a.m. It said, Phase 2 shipment delayed. Heat, switch route south. This short line told agents that another major shipment was already on the move. Federal drones launched into the sky, scanning forests and rural roads. Tactical teams drove toward possible intersections. Thermal cameras detected trucks hiding under heavy tree cover. If these trucks reached the interstate, everything inside would disappear across America. The chase began. Agents surrounded the hidden trucks. The first driver surrendered quickly, but the second driver tried to ram through the blockade, forcing agents into an intense confrontation. Tactical vehicles boxed the truck in and pushed it into a ditch. When agents finally opened the trailer, they found more drugs, more weapons, and another partially assembled grenade launcher. The cartel was attempting to rearm and launch a counterattack.
Right now they're offloading tequila so we can check what the extra operators were able to see. Basically they saw something that should not have been at the front of the trailer.
The X-ray image appears to show something inside the trailer wall.
After the arrests, the seized phones began revealing the truth. Many calls and messages were directly connected to cartel branches in Sinaloa, Mexico. Cyber units began freezing digital wallets linked to the criminals and stopped nearly $1 million from being transferred overseas. But that night, something frightening happened. Local sheriffs spotted drones hovering above an evidence storage building. These drones were not toys. They were custom-built machines meant to lift hard drives or small containers. The next morning, the operation reached its final stage. Federal teams assembled in a large warehouse that had been turned into a command center. Screens around the room turned green, displaying the words, "Target zone secured." All 17 suspects, including Coito, had been arrested. The cartel's Georgia branch had been dismantled. The drugs, weapons, and gold seized were valued at over $1.2 billion. However, inside the evidence vault, agents discovered one item that caused everyone to fall silent. It was a rugged hard drive taken from Coito's house. When investigators opened it, one final message appeared on the screen. It said, Phase 3, new routes ready. This meant the cartel had already planned its next move. Operation Take Back America showed that when federal agencies unite, they strike with incredible force. Every arrest, every intercepted message, and every frozen bank account proved that the US was no longer playing defense. The cartel had built its empire on fear. The story ends with the suspects in custody, the drugs and weapons secured, and the community safer than before. Thank you for watching this story of one of America's biggest cartel takedowns. Stay alert, stay aware, and I'll see you in the next update that shapes our world.